Time with Shebrew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy tea time with Shebrew Royalty. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit.
Shalawam, shalawam. Come on in, Akwathiam. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. How are you today? Welcome in. Welcome in. Come on in, sisters. Please post something in the chat box. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you are here. Come on in with your beautiful royal selves. Let me know that you are here. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Let's get this royalty party started. Come on in. Who is here? Who is here? Just post something in the chat box. Let me know that you are here. Come on in. We really want to get this party started today. There's so much that we have to go into today once again. So I am going to go ahead and get started. So yeah, come on in. Please post something in the chat so that I will know that you are here. Come on in. So before I go any further, as usual, let us give a great shout out, a big praise to the Almighty I Am that I Am, the God of the Hebrews and the Shebrews, in the name of his son, Christ. I am your hostess, Kwala Yakaka, and I humbly thank you for joining me on this broadcast today. Look at who is here. Akwath Carla. Oh my goodness, Akwath Madakwa. The sisters, praise the Most High. So good to see you all. So good to see you all. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long week, you know, because it's like, I can't wait to get back here on Sundays so that we can, we can talk, have tea. Sister Tisha is here. Okay, the water. All praises to the Most High. I pray that everybody had a blessed week. Did everybody have a blessed week? Please say yes. I hope that you did. You're here. That speaks volumes, right? We are here today. That speaks volumes. So thank you so much for being here. The water, Sister Carla. The water. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Praise the Most High. Looking forward to this topic. Me too. Me too. So let's jump in. Right? Let's get the disclaimers and everything out of the way so that we can really get into the meat and potatoes of this show tonight. Because we've done the mindful eating. So now we got to jump into the mindful shopping. So let's get this out of the way. So before moving forward, let me make this disclaimer that Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We get it, we understand, not a problem. But if you come upon this channel and you realize, hey, this is not my cup of tea, then that's okay. Just keep searching YouTube until you find your perfect cup of tea and your perfect flavor. You owe that to yourself. And I'm sure that if you keep searching, you will do just that, right? What I do ask is that you please do not leave any insults, any derogatory statements in the chat box. That would be distasteful. So we would really appreciate that, and we thank you in advance. Sister Princess, good to see you. Shalawam. Shalawam. So good to see you. Oh my gosh, y'all are showing up tonight. Praise the Most High. Also, although I am a medical provider and a corporate health and wellness coach, and I will be touching on topics of health and wellness on my broadcast, we will not be utilizing this platform to diagnose or treat anyone's illnesses. So if you are experiencing any medical problems whatsoever, please consult your healthcare practitioner. And the views that you will hear on this channel are those of myself, my guests, my co-hostesses, and not that of any particular church or organization. One more thing, if you would like to be a guest on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty, please send me an email to shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com, and I will put that banner up for you. shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com. Send me an email. Please include a brief description of your business, your product, service that you provide, or a topic that you would like to co-host. I would really love to hear from you so that we can brainstorm on how we can collaborate to help strengthen and heal Shebrews throughout the four corners of the earth. Because in doing so, if we are strengthened, in turn, that will help to strengthen our nation as a whole. So please get with me if you have a business with products that you would like to feature on the show, a service that you would like to provide to let people know that you have this service available, and also if you would like to co-host a show with me. I will truly appreciate that. Also, I would like to introduce my sponsor, Orderly Fashion 144. Let me put their information on the screen here for you. There we go. www.orderlyfashion144.com. This is where you can shop for custom trends, accessories, and apparel for the dapper and chic. And this is not only for the sisters, but for the brothers as well. So visit orderlyfashion144.com today. And please, when you order, do not forget to include the discount code for my guests, which is Quala, my name, QALA 15, to receive 15% off your purchases. Also, free shipping will populate on orders of $70 or more. Orderly Fashion 144 is also looking for fashion models that will purchase from the website, submit a full body photo of you wearing whatever apparel you purchased, and you can receive up to 35% off your orders and one free item a month. In order to do so, you must order at least 3 items a month. If you have any questions or would like to know more about becoming a fashion model for Orderly Fashion 144, please send an email to info@orderlyfashion144.com. Now let's talk about my guardian doc. let's talk about my guardian doc. So this is where you can actually get a second opinion. When I was practicing medicine, so many of my patients would come to me and tell me that they wanted second opinions based on some diagnoses that they have received. However, having some issues with their insurances and getting a second opinion. So let's talk about My Guardian Doc, and they make it so easy for you to get a second opinion. Let's talk about that. Let's pull their information up on the screen and talk about My Guardian Doc. Let me see where, here we go. We've got a lot coming up tonight. So let's talk about My Guardian Doc. It says your health deserves the best care. Step into My Guardian Doc, your one-stop for on-demand, compassionate medical guidance, urgent care, primary care, and virtual second opinions, all provided by licensed medical doctors. Elevate your healthcare with 24/7 world-class care, just $27 per month for your entire household. So we're not going to go into much details about that, but this tells why choose us. I have the link for the website. If you will go to the description box below this video, you will be able to find so much more information about My Guardian Doc and how you can subscribe. So if this is something, and this is not just for people who do not have insurance, but also those that have insurance, and like I said, would like to either get second opinion, or maybe do not want to make a trip to the ER, you can get care virtually. So there we go, myguardiandoc.com. All right. So if you haven't already done so, please share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I hope you're wearing your favorite turban, tee, tunic, or dress. That being said, let's sip some tea and have healthy talk. Let's get this royal tea party started. Who is here? Let's see. Has anyone else shown up? Who else is here? Sister Zion is here. Good to see you, my sister. Welcome, welcome. So tell me, sisters, what is your cup of tea tonight? Come on, you know how we do. What's a tea party without tea? Sister Venezuela 7, Shalawam, my beautiful Benjamin sister, sipping some masala chai. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, some spiced tea, delicioso. Khan, yes, Sister Sarah. So good to see you, delicioso. Of course you're having your masala chai. That's what I'm talking about. So good, welcome, welcome. So my cup of tea tonight is yerba mate tea. And so actually I just opened this packet today. So I have not had yerba mate in years, and I had completely forgotten what it tastes like. So let's talk about yerba mate and all of the benefits. We'll watch this video by Skyworld. And this video is 10 science-backed health benefits of yerba mate tea. Let's learn more about this tea. Sister Zion says she's having turmeric ginger. So good and good for you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're getting your antioxidants on, my sister. That's right. Sister Sarah said that's a very good tea. I know you know your teas, Sister Sarah. Yes, Sister Carla said you talked up that hibiscus tea last episode. I'm having that. All right, let's do this. Let us do this. Let's talk about yerba mate. Let's give it its, its place tonight. Let's bring it front and center. Here is my yerba mate. I made mine a little weak because it's caffeinated, and I do want to get some sweet sleep tonight, okay? So mine is pretty weak just because I do want to get some sleep tonight. Let's talk about the 10 science-backed health benefits of yerba mate.
Yerba mate, Ilex paraguariensis, a species of the holly family Aquifoliaceae, is a South American plant whose leaves are used to make a beverage called mate. Yerba mate is traditionally consumed like coffee or tea in South America, where it is often called the tea of gods. The drink is gaining popularity worldwide due to its incredible health benefits. Yerba mate contains vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese, iron, selenium, zinc, phosphorus, amino acids and beneficial plant compounds, such as polyphenols and flavonoids. It also contains saponins, theobromine and caffeine. Interestingly, the antioxidant content in yerba mate tea is higher than green tea. Yerba mate is made from the dried leaves and twigs of the plant. They are dried over fire and then steeped in hot water to make the herbal tea. The tea is greenish color and has an earthy, herbal aroma. The beverage can be either served hot or cold. The yerba mate benefits are plenty and are backed by science. Let's read on to know the health benefits of yerba mate. Health benefits of yerba mate. 1. Boosts immunity. Yerba mate leaves contain saponins. They are phytochemicals found abundantly in this plant. Saponins have been found to boost the immune system and protect the body from disease-causing germs like bacteria, virus, fungi or parasites. Additionally, the presence of vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc and selenium in yerba mate can help strengthen your immunity and promote overall health. 2. May aid weight loss. There are some research studies that show the effects of yerba mate on weight loss. Animal studies have shown that the presence of saponins in yerba mate can help reduce body weight. Another study also showed that yerba mate can reduce appetite and boost metabolism, which can aid in weight loss. A study published in the BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies found that yerba mate supplementation decreased body fat mass and waist-hip ratio in overweight people. The study findings concluded that yerba mate supplementation may be effective in preventing obesity. 3. Increases energy and mental focus. As yerba mate contains a good amount of caffeine, drinking this beverage will boost your energy levels and prevent fatigue. Caffeine can also help improve your mental focus. A 2017 study showed that 12 healthy young women, who consumed 2 grams of yerba mate during exercise, resulted in greater focus, energy and concentration during the exercise. 4. Improves physical performance. Caffeine, a well-known stimulant, is known to reduce fatigue, improve muscle contraction and improve sports performance. A study reported that participants who were given 1 gram capsule of ground yerba mate leaves right before exercise burned 24% more fat during moderate intensity exercise. 5. Supports heart health. Research studies have shown that consumption of yerba mate tea can lower cholesterol levels. The presence of antioxidant compounds like polyphenols and caffeoyl derivatives in yerba mate may help protect against heart disease. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that participants who drank 330 milliliters of yerba mate thrice a day daily for 40 days lowered their bad cholesterol levels. 6. Reduces blood sugar levels. Consuming yerba mate may help decrease blood sugar levels and reduce the complications of diabetes. A study published in the Molecular and Cellular Endocrinology found that yerba mate improved insulin resistance. 7. Lowers inflammation. Yerba mate is rich in beneficial plant compounds like saponins, which is known to have anti-inflammatory properties. Consumption of yerba mate can reduce inflammation and certain markers of normal aging. A 2018 study found that regular consumption of beverage including yerba mate, chamomile tea, coffee blend and coffee-like substitute beverages provide ample amount of polyphenol antioxidants that have the potential to prevent oxidative stress-related disorders. 8. Protects against infections. Yerba mate may help prevent bacterial, fungal and parasitic infections. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Food Protection reported that yerba mate extract have the ability to inhibit Escherichia coli, a type of bacteria responsible for causing food poisoning. Another study showed the antifungal activity of yerba mate in preventing the growth of Malassezia furfur, a fungus which causes dandruff, skin rashes and scaly skin. 9. Enhances bone health. Consuming yerba mate may help lower the risk of osteoporosis, a bone disease that causes your bones to become weak and brittle. A 2012 study showed that postmenopausal women who drank 1 liter of yerba mate tea daily for 4 years had less bone loss in their spine and neck compared to women who did not drink yerba mate tea. 10. May manage colon cancer risk. Yerba mate has anti-cancer properties that may stop the growth of colon cancer cells. A 2011 study showed that the cafe oil quinic acid in yerba mate can help treat colon cancer. Side effects of yerba mate. Although this beverage offers a number of health benefits, consuming large amounts for prolonged periods can also have some risks. They include a high risk of pregnancy loss when consumed at high doses, temporary rise in blood pressure, and increased risk of oral, larynx and esophageal cancers. Drinking very hot yerba mate tea is associated with an increased risk of esophageal, larynx, and oral cancers. How to prepare yerba mate tea. Place a tea infuser containing 1 teaspoon of loose tea leaves in a teacup. Heat water and do not bring it to a boil. Pour the water over the infuser and allow the tea leaves to steep for few minutes. Remove the infuser and you can add milk, honey, lemon juice or sugar to sweeten it. Serve it cold.
So what do you all think of that, of yerba mate? So Sister Sarah, of course, you knew about that. It hails from South America. Isn't that something? Sister Paula, welcome, welcome. So good to see you. So good to see you. Praise the Most High. Yes. I have one more video on yerba mate. There's a sister on YouTube. She's from Karen of Curl House, and she's speaking on the benefits of yerba mate for hair. So we are always seeking ways to help grow and strengthen our hair. So let's see what Karen from Curl House has to say about yerba mate for hair growth. Let us get educated. Oh my goodness, the benefits of yerba mate for hair growth. Here we go. Like I said, I've got so many links opened here.
Hey guys, this is Karen from Curl House, and today I'm going to talk about the benefits of yerba mate. Have you ever heard of it at all? Do you know the benefits of it at all? Well, if you don't, be sure to stay tuned for this upcoming video, subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications so that you do not miss a video. So, have you all been doing the 30-day water challenge? Have you been drinking your water every day, cutting out all beverages but water, juices, Crystal Lights, and coffee? That was the main thing that I had to cut out. I had to cut out coffee. And the next day, when I woke up and I could not have my cup of coffee, I realized immediately that my morning isn't the same without my morning cup of coffee. Then I went to work with no coffee. I was sluggish. I was so tired at work. I felt like I was about to pass out on the floor. I mean, it was really that bad. And then the next day came the throbbing headache. And then I got the revelation that I am addicted to coffee. It's even hard for me to say it now, like me. I have a coffee addiction, OMG. But I have a coffee addiction that I'm working on.
Fair use for educational
So
purposes
I
only.
decided instead of immediately going back to coffee, because I'm not drinking anything over the next 30 days, I will try something different. And this is something that some of you may want to try if you're doing the 30-day water challenge, or if you're not doing the 30-day water challenge. You may want to consider drinking yerba mate. Yerba mate leaf. Most people consume it as a tea. So it's very popular in Brazil. It's actually known as the Brazilian tea. It's also very popular in the Middle East. Yerba mate is a highly mineralized plant, and it is recommended for people who are trying to wean themselves off of coffee, like me, because it does have caffeine in it, but not as much as in coffee. But the caffeine in yerba mate also helps to deliver the nutrients to your scalp, increasing the blood circulation to the scalp, encouraging growth to the scalp. Is again, is highly mineralized, so you'll have more minerals to the scalp. So coffee actually depletes you of minerals, and it's acidic. Yerba mate is alkaline, and it comes with a lot of minerals and nutrients, so it doesn't aggravate your adrenals the way coffee does, and you won't get that coffee crash that you may experience, or I have definitely experienced with coffee. You come off of yerba mate much more slowly because it's less caffeine, so you don't have that crash to your body where you can't function like the way I experienced last week coming off of coffee. So the minerals actually help your hair to come in stronger, as opposed to preventing the hair from being brittle. Brittle hair may lead to breakage. So yerba mate also helps to strengthen the hair. So while drinking the tea will definitely benefit your hair, if you want to intensify that benefit, you can actually apply yerba mate to your hair. So you can steep some yerba mate, let it cool, shampoo your hair, pour it over your hair, particularly your scalp, and follow up with a deep conditioner. Or you can use products that contain yerba mate in them as well and apply that to your scalp to strengthen your scalp too. So I encourage you during this week, try something different. If you're dealing with coffee addictions like myself and you want to wean yourself off the coffee, try yerba mate tea. You can ingest it. You can also use it directly to your scalp in the tea form to strengthen your hair, or you can look in some of your products and apply it to your scalp if it's in your products. So I just wanted to stop in and encourage you. If you're doing this 30-day challenge and struggling with your coffee detox, there is help. So, oh, where's my water? Oh, here it is. Here's my water. I'm not going to have the yerba mate this week because I'm going to get through this 30-day challenge with only drinking water. After this challenge, I'm sure I'm going to try the yerba mate. That's going to help me to continue to detoxify myself from coffee. So until we talk again, stay fabulous.
Wow, wow, wow. These teas have such incredible benefits. Oh my gosh. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I am so glad. I am so thankful to the Most High for opening us up to receiving all of this good information, all of this healthy information, right? Isn't it beautiful? All the stuff that we're learning. For some people, this may not be new, but for a lot of us, just learning just the benefits alone of these teas. Come on, Sister Sarah, it's the Most High's creation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. We know they have benefits, but some of these teas just have so many health benefits. Why haven't we been doing this, all of our lives? Some of us have been drinking teas, but not being really mindful of all of the benefits that come with them. So once again, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We're about to get started. Another thing is we do not promote on social media because I do not have any social media accounts other than the YouTube channel. So I depend on your support by sharing this channel and inviting other sisters to come on board so that they can learn along with us. So please do invite your sisters, your family, your friends by word of mouth. And those of you that have social media, you can also promote through social media if you see fit, right? We really want to share this information with all of the sisters, as many as we can throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so let's keep it moving. How many of you were here last week for our show on functional medicine, the art of mindful eating? How many were here? Of course I was. Or if you weren't here, how many of you watched the recording after? Wasn't it great? I must say so myself. I watched it and I really enjoyed it myself. So what did you learn? What did you learn? Did you accept the mindful eating challenge? How many of you accepted that challenge, the mindful eating challenge that we had last week, just to practice mindful eating for one meal a day? How many of you did that? And what was your experience with it? I'm telling you, it's not as easy as it sounds because we are so accustomed, most of us, to eating on the run. And even when we're not on the run, just eating mindlessly. So it really is a challenge. Talk to me. How many of you accepted the challenge and what did you think? Have you changed any of your eating habits since watching the show? If so, what did you change? What did you change so far? And what results have you seen so far? For myself, yes, I am putting in effort. I really am to eat mindfully at least one meal a day. And like I said, it is a challenge because we're always thinking about, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Let me hurry up and eat so that I can get to this, that, and the other. But we really need to slow down, take a deep breath, and just enjoy the food from beginning to end, right? So that being said, welcome to the second Sunday of February, Functional Nutrition Month on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Sister Paula said, that is so powerful. I will be calling you tomorrow. I have to get me some of that. All right, Sister Paula, I look forward to it. Sister Princess said, I learned the importance to slow down while eating and enjoy the colors and the textures. All right, that's what I'm saying. All praises. Yes, the colors, the textures, and just thinking of the spices, right? The taste of the spices, the aroma. It's so wonderful. Yeah, it's just a whole different experience with food. So every Sunday this month, we will be delving into topics pertaining to functional nutrition, not just nutrition, but functional nutrition. Tonight's show, Mindful Shopping, is a spinoff of last week's show, Mindful Eating. So last week, I mentioned that I recently received my certification as a functional nutrition informed professional. And since my retirement from healthcare as a physician assistant, I've really been pursuing a new path towards functional medicine, as you probably have noticed, like I said before, with the topics that we have been delving into. So we're looking at other ways for healing, focusing more on, like Sister Sarah said, the Most High's creation, the herbs, the foods, the vegetables that he gave us for medicine. So this is what we are focusing on, food as medicine. That being said, that brings us to tonight's topic, because the food, although we have access to fruits and vegetables and meats and, eggs and so on and so forth, all of the products out there are not good for us. So how do we know what products we should be consuming and what we shouldn't be consuming? What do we look for in order to learn what to eat, what not to eat, even from the food groups that that the Most High considers the clean foods that we are supposed to eat. Even our clean foods are not all clean because of the pesticides and hormones and so many other things that are in our foods. So tonight, this is what we're going to talk about. So if you have not had the opportunity to view last week's show, you may be wondering, what is functional nutrition? What is mindful eating? So I encourage you to please go back and watch the show from last week, and it will explain everything. It's quite packed with nutritious information, right? So watch last week's show. So what is mindful shopping? Like mindful eating, it is how we eat. Mindful shopping relates to how we shop. And in this sense, because we are focusing on functional nutrition, mindful shopping is how we shop for food products, and even products that we not only ingest by eating, but also products that we apply to our skin, our hair, our nails, etc. Anything that we come in contact with that we shop for. Learning what is good to put on our bodies, what is good to put in our bodies, right? So mindful shopping enhances our awareness of how we shop for food, health and wellness, hygiene, and beauty products. Basically, any and all things that have the ability to either nourish or damage our body. So here are some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about mindful shopping as far as eating organic. We'll talk about why we should choose organic, what the term organic means when it comes to food and farming, organic produce such as meats and dairy, organic processed foods, organic certification and labeling, the health benefits of organic, and what are some of the downsides of eating organic, and how do we go about combating what is considered the downside. So if you haven't already seen my previous video that I made about a year ago, maybe 8 months ago, it's called Eating Healthy in a GMO World. We have part 1 and part 2 because there was just so much information about eating healthy, like it says, in a GMO world. Some of the information that we will not go into tonight, but I encourage you to go back to those 2 videos so that you can learn more about the GMOs and all of the other things that are threatening our health, right? So please do go back and watch that video, Eating Healthy in a GMO World, part 1 and part 2. I encourage you to do so after watching this broadcast, because it goes more in depth about the importance of eating organic and how to avoid GMOs. So here are some other topics that we're going to venture into tonight. What do the numbers on the produce labels mean? How to read food labels without being tricked. And then we're going to delve into the shopper's guide for pesticides in foods, known as the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. We're also going to talk about the Dirty Dozen endocrine disruptors and how to avoid them. So when we're talking about the endocrine disruptors, these are products that disrupt our hormones, causes havoc on our hormones. All right, so let's dig in, right? We have a lot to cover tonight, but I encourage you to stick with me. You may want to sip a cup of yerba mate tea tonight to get some caffeine, right? So that you're not tired. We have a lot to go over, but I promise it's going to be worth it. Our health depends on us knowing how to avoid these toxins that the enemy is using as weapons against us to make us and keep us sick. So Sister Paula says, that is what I do, sister. Eat once a day and a few peanuts through the day, afternoon peanuts, different types. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow, Sister Paula. I want to know more about that diet that you have there. Eating once a day and a few peanuts through the day. Okay, we'll talk about that. So why should we choose organic? What are some of the reasons why we should choose organic? For number one, for health, better taste, concern for the environment, concern for animal welfare, right? Because of what they're doing to the animals with the hormones and so on and so forth. So we'll go into more in depth with that. So in the last decade, production and consumption of organic foods have increased steadily. So isn't that wonderful to know that more people are consuming organic foods? That's great to know. So let's talk about what does organic mean? What is the meaning of organic? So it's the USDA certified organic foods are grown, handled, and processed according to the federal guidelines. The standards are process-based, and the rules are established for an entire system from the farming until they get to the retail shelves. So they're handled in a way so that they can maintain the standards of organic from farm to the table, basically, or at least to the retail shelves when you purchase them. It involves how they are planted, how they're grown, how the livestock are raised, and the handling practices. The National Organic Standards Board is designed by law to advise how to grow products and livestock organically. The National Organic Program, or the NOP, tells which substances are allowed or prohibited in organic farming. So what are some of the factors that are addressed by organic status? So see, these are some of the factors: the soil quality, the animals raising practices, the pest and weed controls, and the use of additives such as GMOs. So these are some of the things that are addressed by the organic status. Using natural substances plus physical, mechanical, or biologically based farming methods to the best of their ability in order to maintain and achieve, or should I say achieve and maintain organic status. So what are some of the goals of farming, the organic goals of farming? Number one is to enhance soil and water quality, reduce pollution, provide safe, healthy livestock habitats. So where the livestock or where they're living, where the chickens that they should have free range or pasture is even more so, is better than free range. The free range chickens, basically they're in a cage and the cage door is open, so they have the ability to go out on the range, but sometimes these cages are so packed that all of the chickens do not get to go out on the free range, right? So when you're buying your eggs, you want to look for pasture raised. That means that the chickens actually are grown out in the pasture. So another thing is to enable natural livestock behavior. Once again, talking about the free range versus pasture grown. It promotes a self-sustaining cycle of resources on a farm. So the farms are self-sustaining. What are some of the things that are prohibited according to organic standards? So prohibition of certain methods in producing and handling are irradiation, which is claimed to preserve food or eliminate disease. Synthetic fertilizers are prohibited, which claims it adds nutrients to the soil. Synthetic pesticides are claimed to for pest control, and antibiotics or growth hormones are used to expedite the growth and production of the animals. What are some other things that are prohibited? There are certain methods in producing and handling that is not allowed for the organic process, such as sewage sludge that is used as fertilizer. And for those of you that don't know about sewage sludge, you know what? We'll go into that later. Genetic engineering or GMOs to improve disease or pest resistance or improve crop yields are also prohibited. So if anything, if the food or the livestock has gained organic status, you know that there are not GMOs. So what are GMOs? Genetically modified organisms influence the growth and development by means that is not possible under natural circumstances. So that's what a GMO is. It's not a natural process. So what does organic produce mean? And please be taking notes. Please take notes, or don't forget to just go back, because I'm going to go through some of this information rapidly. But be sure, if you miss anything, please go back and watch this video again. So what is organic produce? Organic produce is certified to have been grown in soil with no prohibited substances applied for 3 years prior to the harvest. So that soil has been free of toxic fertilizers and so on for up to 3 years prior to harvesting that produce. Organic produce means that there are no synthetic fertilizers and pesticides used in that soil or sprayed on that produce. What does organic mean when it pertains to meats and dairy? The animals are raised in living conditions that accommodate their natural behaviors, like we talked about the chickens and the free range versus, once again, the pasture raised. They are, and they're definitely not grown in a lab. They're definitely not grown in a lab, because that is not the natural habitat for meats, right? Meats do not naturally come out of a lab. So if you see lab grown meat, what do you think that is? It's definitely not organic. So the animals, they graze on grass in pastures, and greater than or equal to 30% of their nutritional needs are the grass in the pastures. They're fed 100% organic feed. So in order for an animal to be certified organic, it has to be fed 100% organic feed. They are never administered antibiotics or hormones. They're processed in facilities inspected by organic certifier without artificial colors, preservatives, or flavors before being packaged. So as you can see, in order to gain certified organic status, they basically have to be the way that the Most High created them to be. No artificial preservatives, colors, flavors, versus. So let's go back. Let's talk about the processed foods that are considered organic. So the processed food that are considered organic, they have no artificial preservatives, colors, or flavors, versus thousands of chemicals added to conventional packaged foods. They have organic ingredients. If the label states made with organic, that means that at least 70% of the ingredients need to be organic. So you need to watch that label. Don't just see organic and assume that this is 100% organic, right? Because a processed food cannot be 100% organic, because processed food, you've never seen a box of anything growing on a tree. So therefore, it cannot be 100% organic. So, but still look at the terms. If the label states made with organic, that means that at least 70% of the ingredients need to be organic. The remaining ingredients, however, the other 30%, is produced without prohibited practices like GMOs, right? Isn't that something? So you may be getting 70% of organic if it states made with organic, but the other 30%, we don't know what that is. And they will never be able to use the USDA organic seal. So if it says made with organic, it will not have the USDA organic seal. Sister Alicia says, Shalawam, I apologize for my tardiness. No problem, sis. It's so good to see you. So glad that you showed up tonight. It's good to see you. All praises. Don't apologize for the tardiness. It's just good for you to be here. So organic certification, how does a product earn the USDA organic seal? So they have to go through an established USDA organic certification program. And you will see the USDA certified organic seal on the food products. If the product is 95% or more organic, it will display the seal, the certified organic seal, or the USDA organic seal. So the product has to be 95% or more organic. The exception is for producers that sell less than $5,000 annually. So these are really small farmers or small businesses, but they follow the organic guidelines. They do not need to go through the expensive certification, expensive certification process. Just because they're such a small company, can't afford to go through the established certification program. So that's the exception. However, although they are growing their produce or livestock organically, they cannot use the USDA organic seal. So these are your small farms, small businesses. Maybe you go to your local farmers market and you talk to the people that are selling there and find out, yes, we are growing organic foods or livestock, eggs, or what have you. However, they will not have the USDA organic seal. So what is 100% organic? Certified fruits, vegetables, eggs, meat, or other single ingredient foods are certified organic if they're grown organically, right? So these are things that do not come in a box. Or you can have multi-ingredient foods if all the ingredients are certified organic. So let's say, I'm going to use this for instance, a fruit salad where you have multiple different fruits in this fruit salad. It's not just one fruit, but this fruit salad is made from multiple ingredients, but all of the ingredients, all of the fruits that are used to make this fruit salad are all organic. Then this fruit salad can be labeled as 100% organic because all of the ingredients that make up this multi-food fruit salad is organic. So that's in order to get the 100% organic label. To get the label that says organic, not the 100% organic, at least 95% of the ingredients in a multi-ingredient food has to be certified organic. So if you have something, once again, that's multi ingredients, but only 95% of the ingredients are organic, that label will be organic. It will not state 100% organic because it's not. And we talked about made with organic, which this is the label. At least 70% of the ingredients in a multi-ingredient food will be certified as made with organic, and this will not carry the USDA seal. Then there's another label And this label is organic ingredients. So if you see a product that has the label organic ingredients, this means that less than 70% of the ingredients in this multi-ingredient food is certified organic. This will not be labeled organic or carry the USDA seal, but it will state organic ingredients. But only 70% of those ingredients are organic. All right. Any questions? Any questions so far? Post questions in the comment box, the chat box, if you have some questions pertaining to what we just went over. So what are the nutritional health benefits of organic? So a growing body of evidence showing potential health benefits of organic versus conventional foods. So, of course, the nutrients. So when you're eating organic, you will have small to moderate increases in some nutrients like flavonoids and antioxidants. You'll have more omega-3s because the primary use of grass and alfalfa used to feed the cattle. And about 50%, you will receive about 50% higher omega-3s in organic foods and in organic foods, meats, and so on. Significantly lower heavy metals in organic grains. And then lower detectable levels of pesticides. So these are some of the nutritional health benefits. Lower detectable levels of pesticides, lower heavy metals, more omega-3s, more nutrients like the flavonoids and antioxidants. And the growing body of evidence showing potential health benefits of organic versus conventional foods. So there's also fewer pesticides, and these pesticides, such as glyphosate, which is a probable human carcinogen, which causes cancer. There's fewer of that. Chlorpyrifos, which causes developmental delays in infants. Lower levels of that. Lower levels of carcinogenic properties in the pesticides, such as what causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia, and lower levels of endocrine disruptors, which we're going to go into later on, which causes such things such as type 2 diabetes. Because this endocrine disruptor can cause problems with the pancreas and cause type 2 diabetes. And lower levels of neurotoxic pesticides, which causes such things such as Parkinson's. So these are some of the, just by eating organic, some of the diseases, illnesses, sicknesses that you have a lower incident of contracting because you're avoiding the pesticides that are on non-organic, that non-organic fruits and vegetables are exposed to. So Other health benefits, we talked about lower or fewer heavy metals, such as cadmium, lower levels of liver and kidney challenges. There's no antibiotics or synthetic hormones, and which the antibiotics that are injected into these animals are now causing antibiotic resistance in humans. So many people are wondering, why is it that I'm needing more antibiotics for longer periods of time to treat certain illnesses, certain sicknesses? I used to be able to have an infection, a bladder infection, or what have you, take some antibiotics, a few days, and now this is not working because of antibiotic resistance, because of the antibiotics that are being injected into the livestock, which you are now ingesting. And there's a lower incidence, if you eat organic, of hormonally based cancers. There's also research showing that organic food consumption may also reduce the risk of allergic diseases, obesity, and overweight. So, of course, the caveat is it's not conclusive, as those choosing organic tend to lead healthier lifestyles overall. Why? Not because you're eating organic means that you're not on the, also eating some junk on the side, eating some non-organic stuff on the side, right? So it does not necessarily mean that because, okay, I'm buying organic fruits and vegetables, that I'm going to be completely healthy. And we're also coming into contact with so many other things. Like, we're going to talk about not just the food that we're coming in contact with, but the things that are in the environment, the things that are in the environment that we're coming in contact with, and we're wondering, oh my gosh, I'm eating organic, and yet I'm still sick, and so on and so forth. What are you putting on your body? What are you, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, right? These are some of the other things that we're going to talk about. That's why we have to talk about mindful shopping. Mindful shopping is not just about the food, the grocery store, what we're consuming by mouth. We also need to talk about the products that we're using topically, the makeups that we're using. Are we using vegan makeup, or what are we doing? What are we putting in our hair, on our scalp? So what are what's the organic downside? Is there a downside? Sister Sierra says, Khan, that's true, sis. Khan says, good to see you as well. Shalawam, beautiful. Shalawam, the water, all praises. So good to see you. So is there a downside of organic? The downside is the cost, of course. In order for us to eat the natural things that the Most High gave us as medicine, we have to pay more for it. And to me, that just never made any sense. It should be, but once again, it's because they claim, because it's in order to grow these things, these fruits and vegetables, and take care of the livestock, that it's more expensive to grow organic and to raise organic. So the farming practices are more expensive, so that cost is passed on to us when we buy the products. So it says it can cost 50 to 100% more than foods of just conventional counterparts. So buying an organic apple versus one that has been sprayed with pesticides or grown in soil that is fertilized with sludge, that organic apple may cost twice as much, 50% as much, right? Or even 100% more just to eat organic. So in order to get around that, buy seasonally. Buy the fruits, the fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season. And prioritize what you buy organic. If you can't afford to buy everything organic. And we're going to go into what the Dirty Dozen list is and the Clean 15 list is of fruits and veggies. All right. So buy seasonally. And you can also buy like fruits and vegetables frozen that are organic. Sister Sarah said cost for sure. They got those things at quality prices. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So let's talk now about the produce label numbers. How many of you go into the grocery store and see these stickers that are on the produce and wonder exactly what do these numbers mean? What do they mean? Let me bring up an article that will explain what those numbers on your produce means. Let's go into that. What do the numbers on produce labels mean? The PLU code. What is it and is it important? So it says the label of numbers glued to loose fresh fruits and vegetables is known as a PLU code, which stands for Price Lookup Code. These numbers assigned by the International Federation of Produce Standards, IFPS, and put together by the Produce Marketing Association have been in existence since 1990. If the produce is sold in a container or packaged in a way that does not allow you to choose the items you specifically want, then the packaging gets a barcode. Food labeling is completely voluntary. Stores and farmers markets are not required by law to put stickers on their produce. The glue used for PLU stickers is food grade. The stickers themselves are not. So how to read the PLU codes? Conventionally grown produce, where pesticides are generally used, have a 4-digit PLU number that begins with the number 3 or 4. The other 3 numbers are for the grocery store's electronic inventory system. So if you see a 3 or 4, the beginning number on that 4-digit code, you know that the pesticides have been used on that produce. The prefix 9 combined with a 3000 or 4000 series signifies that the item is organic. So you always want to look for that 9. Organic means that no pesticides are used, cannot be grown with sewage sludge-based fertilizers, which possibly contain heavy metals. and that the food cannot be genetically modified. They also cannot be irradiated. We went into that. These produce items fall under the standards created by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, for organic foods. A 5-digit PLU number with a prefix of 8 indicates genetically modified organism, GMO. So remember that a 5-digit code starting with an 8 means that it's GMO. This can include many varieties of commonly eaten fruits and vegetables not found in nature. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs, are plants, animals, and microorganisms whose DNA has been altered through genetic engineering. According to a 2013 report by the Grocery Manufacturers Association, 70 to 80% of foods contain GMOs. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? 70 to 80% of foods contain GMOs. Although research on the health effects of GMOs is controversial, there's reason to believe they may have negative health consequences. You think? Produce with conventionally grown PLUs can still be potentially genetically modified, since there is no requirement to label it. Many companies avoid using the 8 prefix. Buying organic is the only way to make sure you avoid GMO produce. That's important to know. What you need to know. You'll find organic apples next to conventional apples, most often with a huge price differential. You must read labels in containers of beverages, canned goods, and all packaged foods for ingredients. Organic ingredients should be clearly listed on the packaging, although you will not see PLU codes. The following foods with conventional labels that begin with the number 3 or 4 or 8 require higher levels of pesticides to thrive and are heavily sprayed. This is interesting. My screen keeps moving up and down without me touching it. So, mind you, I am not doing that. I am not moving this. This is funny. Okay. Now I'm moving it. I'm scrolling. Where was I? The following foods with conventional labels that begin with the number 3 or 4 or 8 require high levels of pesticides to thrive and are heavily sprayed. Peaches, nectarines, cherries, strawberries, apples, pears, grapes, tomatoes, sweet bell peppers, celery, spinach, kale, lettuce, and potatoes. Buying organic isn't always an option. These fruits and vegetables have been determined by the Environmental Working Group, EWG, to have the least pesticide residue. Asparagus, avocado, broccoli, cabbage, cantaloupe, carrots, cauliflower, eggplants, grapefruits, kiwi, mangoes, mushrooms, onions, papaya, pineapple, sweet corn, sweet peas, sweet potatoes, and watermelon. Genetically modified crops have had their DNA altered using genetic engineering techniques to make them more resistant to viruses and insects, more tolerant to herbicides, delayed in ripening, among other things. Isn't that something? If you choose to avoid GMOs, recognize the most common GMO fruits and vegetables: corn, papaya, potatoes, soy, zucchini, and yellow summer squash. Wow, wow, wow. Are we learning some things today? Washing for safety. Not only do you have to consider pesticides, but also organisms from soil or handling from farm to shipping to store can cause contamination in both conventional and organic produce. Washing produce before peeling, cutting, or eating any fruit or vegetable can help eliminate pesticides and reduce the risk of foodborne diseases such as E. coli and listeria. Wasn't there just an listeria outbreak recently? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the outbreak that they had in a few of the HEB stores out here, grocery stores out here in Texas. The best time to wash fruits and vegetables is right before you use them. Unwashed produce stays fresh longer. Wash your hands first with soapy water. Hold the produce under plain running water. Use a clean vegetable brush to scrub firm produce such as melons. Throw away the outermost leaves of lettuce and cabbage. How do we store produce? Most vegetables should go in the high humidity drawer, while most fruits should go in the low humidity drawer. In the high humidity setting, the slider closes a window and keeps more air and moisture inside the drawer. In the low humidity setting, the slider opens the window and lets more air and moisture out of the drawer. When storing berries, they can stay fresh much longer by immediately removing any that are spoiled or beginning to, and transfer unwashed, healthy-looking berries to a glass jar with a tight lid. Only wash the ones just before you eat them or put in a salad. Onions, once cut, can be placed in a resealable bag in the vegetable drawer. What are some produce that should not be refrigerated? Keep these uncut and unpeeled on the counter for best nutrition and flavor. Melons, apples, pineapple, white and sweet potatoes, tomatoes, onions, garlic, shallots, unripened peaches, apricots, nectarines, and plums, thick-skinned squash like acorn and butternut, oranges, grapefruit, lemons, and limes, but not bunched together. Bell peppers stored in a paper bag in a cool place. Who knew that? Treat herbs like basil, mint, parsley like bunches of flowers by putting the stems in a glass with fresh water. Hard herbs such as rosemary and oregano can be wrapped in a paper towel and stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator crisper drawer. The best produce picks. Now that you can understand what the PLU code means, you can decide what produce you will buy, shell out your money, and still not be satisfied with the texture, flavor, or shelf life. That's another lesson. If you're interested in learning about that, please comment below. So, wasn't that a lot? Wasn't that a lot of information in this one article right here? Matter of fact, I am going to share this link in the box right here, in the chat box. That's a bunch of information. That was a lot of information, right? It went into more than just the label. What does the label mean? Right? Wasn't that a lot of good information? Talk to me. How many of you learned something there about even how to store your produce? Like the bell peppers in a paper bag rather than in the fridge. My bell peppers are always in the fridge. I never thought to leave my bell peppers out in a paper bag. Right? Even my oranges. When I was buying oranges, it's so hard to find oranges with seeds anymore. So that's a whole other story, right? Let's go into another article, which is how to read the food labels without being tricked. So remember, this is all about mindful shopping. These are things that we need to think about when we go shopping for groceries, for hygiene products, and so on and so forth. But right now we're going to talk about reading the food labels without being tricked, because even that, they are masters of advertisement. They know how to appeal to our senses, right? And so they know exactly how to market these products. So let's learn how to read these food labels without being tricked. How to read food labels without being tricked. It says reading labels can be tricky. Consumers are more health conscious than ever, so some food manufacturers use misleading tricks to convince people to buy highly processed and unhealthy products. Food labeling regulations are complex, making it harder for consumers to understand them. This article explains how to read food labels so that you can differentiate between mislabeled junk and truly healthy foods. There's food labels right there. Oops. It says, don't let the claims on the front fool you. One of the best tips may be to completely ignore claims on the front of the packaging. Front labels try to lure you into purchasing products by making health claims. In fact, research shows that adding health claims to front labels make people believe a product is healthier than the same product that doesn't list health claims, thus affecting consumer choices. Masters of deception. Manufacturers are often dishonest in the way they use these labels. Scroll this down just a little bit here. They tend to use health claims that are misleading and in some cases downright false. Examples include many high-sugar breakfast cereals like the whole grain Cocoa Puffs. Despite what the label may imply, these products are not healthy. So they use that word whole grain, right? This makes it hard for consumers to choose healthy options without a thorough inspection of the ingredient list. So how can it be whole grain when it's mixed with all this other stuff? the cocoa and the puff. This makes it hard, like we said, for consumers to choose healthy options without a thorough inspection of the ingredient list. So in summary, front labels are often used to lure people into buying products. However, some of these labels are highly misleading. Study the ingredients list. Product ingredients are listed by quantity, from highest to lowest amount. This means that the first ingredient is what the manufacturer used the most of. A good rule of thumb is to scan the first 3 ingredients, as they make up the largest part of what you're eating. If the first ingredients include refined grains, a type of sugar, or hydrogenated oils, you can assume that the product is unhealthy. Instead, try choosing items that have whole foods listed as the first 3 ingredients. In addition, an ingredients list that is longer than 2 to 3 lines suggests that the product is highly processed. In summary again, ingredients are listed by quantity, from highest to lowest. Try looking for products that list whole foods as the first 3 ingredients, and be skeptical of foods with long lists of ingredients. Then you want to watch out for serving sizes. Nutrition labels state how many calories and nutrients are in a standard amount of the product, often a suggested single serving. However, these serving sizes are frequently much smaller than what people consume in one sitting. For example, one serving may be half a can of soda, a quarter of a cookie, half a chocolate bar, or a single biscuit. In doing so, manufacturers try to deceive consumers into thinking that the food has fewer calories and less sugar. Most people are unaware of this serving size scheme, assuming that the entire container is a single serving, when in truth, it may consist of 2, 3, or more servings. If you're interested in knowing the nutritional value of what you're eating, you need to multiply the serving given on the back by the number of servings you consumed. So in summary, serving sizes listed on packaging may be misleading and unrealistic. Manufacturers often list a much smaller amount than what most people consume in one setting. What are some of the most misleading claims? Health claims on packaged food are designed to catch your attention and convince you that the product is healthy. Here are some of the most common claims and what they mean. Light. Light products are processed to reduce either calories or fat. Some products are simply watered down. Check carefully to see if anything has been added instead, like sugar. Multigrain. This sounds very healthy, but only means that the product contains more than one type of grain. These are most likely refined grains, unless the product is marked as whole grain. Natural. This does not necessarily mean that the product resembles anything natural. It simply indicates that at one point, the manufacturer worked with a natural source like apples or rice. Organic. This label says very little about whether a product is healthy. For example, organic sugar is still sugar. No added sugar. Some products are naturally high in sugar. The fact that they don't have added sugar doesn't mean they're healthy. Unhealthy sugar substitutes may also have been added. Low calorie. Low calorie products have to have 1/3 fewer calories than the brand's original product. Yet, the brand's low calorie version may have similar calories as another brand's original. Isn't that tricky? Isn't that a good trick? Low fat. This label usually means that the fat has been reduced at the cost of adding more sugar. Be very careful and read the ingredients list. Low carb. Recently, low carb diets have been linked to improved health. Still, Processed foods that are labeled low carb are usually still processed junk food, similar to processed low fat foods. Made with whole grains. This product may contain very little whole grains. Check the ingredients list. If the whole grains aren't in the first 3 ingredients, the amount is negligible. Fortified or enriched. So these are some of the terms that they use to trick us. Isn't that something? Fortified or enriched. This means that some nutrients have been added to the product. For example, vitamin D is often added to milk, yet just because something is fortified doesn't make it healthy. Gluten-free. Gluten-free doesn't mean healthy. The product simply doesn't contain wheat, spelt, rye, or barley. Many gluten-free foods are highly processed and loaded with unhealthy fats and sugar. Fruit flavored. Many processed foods have a name that refers to a natural flavor, such as strawberry, yogurt. However, the product may not contain any fruit, only chemicals designed to taste like fruit. Zero trans fat. This phrase means that 0.5 grams of trans fat being per serving. Thus, if serving size are misleading, small, the product may still contain trans fat. Despite these cautionary words, many true healthy foods are organic, whole grain, or natural. Still, just because a label makes certain claims doesn't guarantee that it's healthy. Summary. Many marketing terms are associated with improved health. These are often used to mislead consumers into thinking that unhealthy processed foods is good for them. And what are the different names for sugar? Sugar goes by countless names, many of which you may not recognize. Food manufacturers use this to their advantage by purposely adding many different types of sugar to their products to hide the actual amount. In doing so, they can list a healthier ingredient at the top, mentioning sugar further down. So even though a product may be loaded with sugar, it doesn't necessarily appear as one of the first 3 ingredients. To avoid accidentally consuming a lot of sugar, watch out for the following names of sugar in the ingredients list. So here are some of the types of sugar: beet sugar, brown sugar, buttered sugar, cane sugar, castor sugar, coconut sugar, date sugar, golden sugar, invert sugar, Muscovado sugar, organic raw sugar, raspadura sugar, evaporated cane juice, and confectioner's sugar. Types of syrup: carob syrup, golden syrup, high fructose corn syrup, which we already know about that, honey, agave, nectar, malt syrup, maple syrup, oat syrup, rice bran syrup, and rice syrup. Other added syrups: barley malt, molasses, cane juice crystals, cane juice crystals, lactose, corn sweeteners, crystalline, fructose, dextran, malt powder, ethyl mitol, fructose, fruit juice concentrate, galactose, glucose, disaccharides, maltodextrin, and maltose. These are all of names of sugars, right? Many more names for sugars exist, but these are the most common. If you see any of these in the top spots on the ingredients list, or several kinds throughout the list, then the product is high in added sugar. In summary, sugar goes by various names, many of which you may not recognize. These include cane sugar, invert sugar, corn sweeteners, dextran, molasses, malt syrup, maltose, and evaporated cane juice. The bottom line, the best way to avoid being misled by product labels is to avoid processed foods altogether. After all, whole food doesn't need an ingredients list. Still, if you decide to buy packaged foods, be sure to sort out the junk from the high quality products with the helpful tips in this article. So this article I am also going to share so you can reference back to this. More info. More info. So we went into a lot again, right? And we're just going to skim through what is called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 food list. And this is by mindbodygreen.com. The Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 foods list. Once again, this is mindful shopping. This is mindful shopping. These are the things that we need to be mindful of so we are not tricked when we go shopping. So here are 2023's Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists, and it's out. So this is from 2023. More than likely there'll be a new list that will come out this year. All right, so every year, the Environmental Working Group, the EWG, analyzes the most recent USDA data to compile its infamous Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen lists. These lists the types of fruits and vegetables that tend to be grown with the most and least pesticides based on the latest available numbers. Before we peel back the results of the 2023 list, a produce PSA, don't take them as a sign that you should be avoiding any fruits or vegetables altogether, even the ones considered quote unquote dirty. Given research like this study out of the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago, which found that after seeing pesticides messaging, low-income shoppers were less likely to purchase any fruits or vegetables. It's important to point out that eating a non-organic strawberry is still by and large a healthier choice than eating, say, a strawberry-flavored gummy bear. Filling your plate with a variety of fresh fruits and veggies will always be a cornerstone of good nutrition, as long as it's not GMO. So you can think of these lists more as resources to help guide your produce purchasing habits. If you only have a certain amount of money to spend at a grocery store, the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 can steer you towards the produce you should prioritize buying organic from a healthy perspective, though there are environmental and workers' rights reasons to buy organic when you can too. With that out of the way, here's the updated list. So this was written back, this list came out back in March of 2023. So I'm thinking that maybe another list will come out this year, maybe in March. But what I'll do is I'll give you a link to where you can keep up with the list. To come up with this year's list, the EWG parsed through USDA data on 46,569 samples of 46 of the most popular fruits and veggies. You can see how all of them stacked up here. The USDA washed and peeled them as one would do at home before testing them for pesticides. After washing, nearly 75% of non-organic fresh produce sold in the US contained residues of pesticides, the reports found. And this is after washing. To rank each type of produce from clean to dirty, the EWG assigns it a score based on the percent of samples tested with detectable pesticides, percent of samples with 2 or more detectable pesticides, average number of pesticides found on a single sample, averaging amount of pesticides found, maximum number of pesticides found on a single sample, and total number of pesticides found on the crop. All categories are weighed equally since they convey different but equally relevant information about pesticide levels on produce. The report's methodology section reads, "This means that the list indicates which crops tend to be treated with the highest volumes and variety of pesticides and doesn't go so far as to definitively say which ones are the riskiest from a human health perspective. Here is the most recent list." So these are the dirty dozen. Yes. These are the ones tend to be treated with the highest volume and variety of pesticides. So strawberries, spinach, kale, collards, and mustard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. Blueberries and green beans are new additions to this year's Dirty Dozen list. Several green bean samples had residue of acephate, a toxic pesticide, which the EPA banned more than 10 years ago. Who would have thought? From use on green beans grown for food, the report reads. Overall, more than 90% of strawberries, apples, cherries, spinach, nectarines, and grapes sampled tested positive for residue of 2 or more pesticides. So here are the 2023 Clean 15 list. As is the case every year, you will notice that most of 2023's cleanest produce has a tough outer peel, husk, or shell that is removed prior to eating. Making sense. Doesn't it make sense? Avocados. So these are the Clean 15. Avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, onions, papaya, sweet peas, which are frozen, the asparagus, honeydew melon, kiwi, cabbage, mushrooms, mangoes, sweet potatoes, watermelons, and carrots. Carrots are a new addition to this year's list, knocking off cantaloupe for the title of purest produce tested. Almost 65% of these fruits and vegetable samples had no detectable pesticide residue after preparation. The EWG notes, avocados and sweet corn samples were the cleanest tested, and less than 2% of them had any detectable pesticides. It says, time for a Mexican-inspired salad, anyone? So the takeaway, every year, the EWG's Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen provides an overview of the fruits and vegetables that contain the most and least pesticides. These lists can help you decide where it's worth it to splurge on organic produce versus save your cash for that fancy olive oil you've been eyeing. So I'm going to give you a copy. I'm going to copy this link and put it in the chat as well. Here we go. And then I'm going to also give you the link for the EWG's website. They have so much information on that website. So let's see here. Simple. So there we go. There's the EWG's website. EWG.org. And one more article here, and this is called The Dirty Dozen Endocrine Disruptors and How to Avoid Them. This is another really important article. Very, very important. Let me get this on the screen here for you. So these are the endocrine disruptors. So these are the things that tend to mess up our hormones, cause havoc in our bodies. So these are the Dirty Dozen list of endocrine disruptors, the 12 hormone altering chemicals, and how to avoid them. And this, you will be able to get this on EWG.org. So that's the link, the last link that I posted. So here are the Dirty Dozen. BPA, dioxin, atrazine, phthalates, perchlorate, fire retardants, lead, arsenic, mercury, perfluorinated chemicals, organophosphate pesticides, glycol ethers, right? So let's talk about what these are. There's no end to the tricks that the endocrine disruptors can play on our bodies, increasing production of certain hormones, decreasing production of others, imitating hormones, turning one hormone into another. You know what? I am going to read it from my screen here. Just because the letters are kind of small on the screen up there. So I'm going to read it from my laptop. It says, turning one hormone into another, interfering with hormone signaling, telling cells to die prematurely, competing with essential nutrients, binding to essential hormones, accumulating in organs that produce hormones. Isn't that something? Here are 12 of the worst hormone disruptors, how they do their dirty deeds, and some tips on how to avoid them. So BPA. Some say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but do you really want a chemical used in plastics imitating the sex hormone estrogen in your body? No. Unfortunately, this synthetic hormone can trick the body into thinking it's the real thing, and the results aren't pretty. BPA has been linked to everything from breast and other cancers to reproductive problems, obesity, early puberty, and heart disease. According to government tests, 93% of Americans have BPA in their bodies. So how do we avoid this? Go fresh instead of canned. Many food cans have BPA in their linings, or research which companies don't use BPA or similar chemicals in their products. Say no to receipts. Listen to this. Say no to receipts, since thermal paper is often coated with BPA. Avoid plastics marked with PC for polycarbonate or recycling label number 7. Not all of these plastics contain BPA, but many do. And it's better safe than sorry when it comes to keeping synthetic hormones out of your body. For more tips, check out ewg.org/BPA. So skip even the receipt. So instead of getting a receipt, I haven't been scrolling. There we go. I'm sorry. Instead of getting a receipt, just ask for your receipt to be emailed or text to you if you need the receipt. If you don't need a receipt, then just bypass it. So here's the next one, dioxin. Dioxins are multitaskers, but not in a good way. They form during many industrial processes when chlorine or bromine are burned in the presence of carbon and oxygen. Dioxin can disrupt the delicate signaling system of male and female sex hormones in the body. This is a bad thing. And here's why. Recent research has shown that exposure to low levels of dioxins in the womb and early in life can permanently affect sperm quality and lower sperm count in men during their prime reproductive years. But that's not all. Dioxins are very long-lived, build up both in the body and in the food chain, are powerful carcinogens, which means causes cancer, and can also affect the immune and reproductive systems. So how do we avoid dioxin? That's pretty difficult, since the ongoing industrial release of dioxins has meant that the American food supply is widely contaminated. Products including meat, fish, milk, eggs, and butter are most likely to be contaminated. You can cut down on your exposure by eating fewer animal products. So what's the next one? Atrazine. Oh, this one is quite interesting. Let's talk about atrazine. What happens when you introduce highly toxic chemicals into nature and turn your back? For one thing, feminization of male frogs. That's right. Researchers have found that exposure to even low levels of the herbicide atrazine can turn male frogs into females that produce completely viable eggs. Atrazine is widely used on the majority of corn crops in the United States, and consequently, it's a pervasive drinking water contaminant. Atrazine has been linked to breast tumors, delayed puberty, and prostate inflammation in animals. And some research has linked it to prostate cancer in people. How to avoid it? Buy organic produce and get a drinking water filter certified to remove atrazine. For help finding such a filter, check out EWG's buying guide, ewg.org report. Well, there's the link right there. And like I said, I've already put the link to EWG in the chat box. phthalates. And let's see here, that's the next. Did you know that a specific signal programs cells in your body to die? It's usually normal and healthy for 50 billion cells in your body to die every day. But studies have shown that chemicals called phthalates can trigger what is known as death-inducing signaling in testicular cells, making them die sooner than they should. Yep, that cell's death in your man's part. If that's not enough, studies have linked phthalates to hormone changes, lower sperm count, less mobile sperms, birth defects in the male reproductive system, obesity, diabetes, and thyroid irregularities. Would you believe that? I mean, we basically have to walk around in a bubble. How to avoid it? A good place to start is to avoid plastic food containers, children's toys. Some phthalates are already banned in kids' products, and plastic wrap made from PVC, which has the recycling label number 3. Some personal care products also contain phthalates. So read the labels and avoid products that simply list added fragrance, since this catch-all term sometimes means hidden phthalates. Find phthalate-free personal care products with EWG. EWG is a great website because, like it says here, you can go on this website and find these products that are natural and that do not have all of these toxins. So please copy that link to get more information. Perchlorate. Who needs food tainted with rocket fuel? That's right. Perchlorate, a component in rocket fuel, contaminates much of our produce and milk, according to EWG and government test data. When perchlorate gets into your body, it competes with the nutrient iodine, which a thyroid gland needs to make thyroid hormones. Basically, this means that if you ingest too much of it, you can end up altering your thyroid hormone balance. This is important because these hormones regulate metabolism in adults and are critical for proper brain and organ development in infant and young children. How can we reduce this? You can reduce perchlorate in your drinking water by using a reverse osmosis filter. You can get help finding one here, and it gives you the information. As for food, it's pretty much impossible to avoid perchlorate, but you can reduce its potential effects on you by making sure you're getting enough iodine in your diet. Using iodized salt is one good way. The next is fire retardants. What do breast milk and polar bears have in common? That's interesting. In 1999, Swedish scientists studying women's breast milk discovered something totally unexpected. The milk contained an endocrine disrupting chemical found in fire retardants, and the levels had been doubling every year since 1972. These incredibly persistent chemicals known as polybrominate polybrominated diphenyl ethers, or PBDEs, have since been found to contaminate the bodies of people and wildlife around the globe, even polar bears. These chemicals can imitate thyroid hormones and disrupt their activity. That can lead to lower IQ, among other significant health effects. Several kinds of PBDEs have been PBDs have been found. Where am I? These chemicals can imitate thyroid hormones and disrupt their activity. That can lead to lower IQ, among other significant health effects. Several kinds of PBDAs have now been phased out, but this doesn't mean that toxic fire retardant have gone away. PBDEs are incredibly persistent, so they're going to be contaminating people and wildlife for decades to come. So how do we avoid it? It's virtually impossible, but passing better toxic chemical laws that requires chemicals to be tested before they go on the market would help reduce our exposure. A few things that you can try in the meantime include using a vacuum with a HEPA filter, which can cut down on toxic laden house dust, avoiding reupholstering foam furniture, and taking care when replacing old carpet. The padding underneath may contain PBDEs. So, wow, there's plenty here. Let's see, where are we with time? You know what? I am not going to go through this entire list, just because of the time factor. However, I encourage you to go to the website ewg.org and get this information. It is so vital. It is so vital that you get this information. And ewg.org is packed with so much information about what we're talking about tonight, about mindful shopping. We really need to know all of this information to protect ourselves as much as we can. As much as we can. We cannot avoid, of course, everything. But once we know, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. So I encourage you to go to ewg.org to get more information. So, sisters, this is only week 2 of a very information-packed month on functional nutrition month. This is only week 2. So are you ready to start practicing mindful shopping? Right? Next week, I am going to challenge you again. I would like someone to come on the show and talk about mindful shopping. If you practice what did you learn? What did you learn during this broadcast tonight? Come on and talk about it. What are the things that you're going to do differently? And if you start practicing mindful shopping, what is your experience? How has it changed how you shop? Can I get someone to come on next week and join me and talk about mindful shopping or even mindful eating? I want a brave soul to come on, to come on next week. And once again, go on ewg.org. Like I said, we just couldn't go through that entire list, but it's a lot of information on there that you need to know. So now that we know how to eat and how to shop mindfully, let me tell you what's in store for the next 2 weeks in February. So next week, we are going to explore diets, sweeteners, and supplements. Diets, sweeteners, and supplements. Diets is going to be really important because we're going to go into different types of diets and what are the pluses and the minuses of each of these diets. Of course, sweeteners, and then supplements. And for the following week, which will be the last week of Functional Nutrition Month, we are going to talk about functional foods versus dysfunctional foods. So we're going to talk about the foods that are good for us and the foods that are bad for us. Specific foods that are considered functional, and if they're not functional, then guess what? They're dysfunctional. So sisters, I hope that you found the information that was presented tonight useful. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it was a lot. I know we were on here for, it's now a little over 2 hours, which I usually try to stay in that 2-hour mark. So that's why I shut it down as far as going through that entire list of the endocrine disruptors. Visit ewg.org once again. So if you found this information useful, please do me a favor and share this video with your sister friends, your relatives, right? Let us spread this information, this valuable information to Shebrews and non-Shebrews throughout the 4 corners of the earth, right? We're all living in this world together. So help us to share this information so we can all live longer, healthier lives by making choices now from here on out that will promote health and wellness, not just for us, but for our family members as well, right? So invite other sisters to join us on this broadcast starting next week. We are to let our light shine so that others can be led to the source of the light, right? Let us shine this light. Teach others how to eat healthy, how to shop healthy. All right, so next week, I challenge you, 1 or 2 sisters, come on with me. Come on here and let's talk about what you learned so far. Just it will only be a couple of minutes, and then we'll move on into the topic for next week, which is diets, sweeteners. What was on the list here? Diets, sweeteners, and supplements. That's next week. Diet, sweeteners, and supplements. All right. So thank you. The I love you all so much and always appreciate you taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to have tea and conversation with me. The water again for your support. Sister Paula says, I'll be glad to talk to you about some changes next week because I didn't already started, and even more by looking at this show. All praises, Sister Paula. Sister Sarah says, great information, sis. Definitely do a part 2. The water for you, for your time, presentation, much appreciated. Well done, the water. The water, you look gorgeous. Much love. Oh, the water, sis. The water, my sisters. The water. Oh my goodness, know that I'm praying for us. I'm praying for us that we live long, healthy, beautiful lives. That's why I'm doing this, right? Is for the healing of our sisters and our nation. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. So until the Most High brings us back together again, may you prosper and be in good health. And remember, true healing begins inwardly before it is expressed outwardly. Right? I am your hostess, Kwala Yakaka, a voice of reasoning and justice. Have a beautiful, restful night, an amazing week. Be blessed. And if it's the Most High will, we'll be back here next week, same tea channel, same tea time. I love you so much. Good night. Shalawam akwathiam. Shalawam. The water again.